And now, the news from our London studios. MTA International brings you the world news.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to a World News special featuring an interview given by the world head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation's national correspondent Carolyn Dunn. The interview was conducted on the 24th of May in Calgary, Canada, during Hazrat Caliph V's historic tour of North America. MTA News is very pleased to be able to exclusively bring to you the interview in its entirety, courtesy of CBC.
Could you tell me what your, since I'm afraid I wasn't in there for your, for your message in the mosque, tell me what it was, what you were telling the people here in Calgary.
I normally pay a visit to my people to enhance their spiritual level, to let them understand their responsibility towards their fellow beings, to become more humble, to become more honest, to become more law-abiding, to become more helpful to the needy people. So this is the message, and of course to recognize your Creator more than before.
The Canadian Office of Religious Freedoms was actually opened in one of your mosques, and I'm wondering what that means to you.
Yes. You see, it was the government who requested that they want to inaugurate their new office, and since we Ahmadis are also one of the, as a group, the victims of the persecution in some countries, so they requested that it would be better if the office is opened from our place. So we happily accepted that one, and so otherwise we didn't mean anything from the government. We didn't want anything from the government.
Do you think that Ahmadiyya is a true reflection of a persecuted sect?
Ahmadis, if you know about Ahmadis, you know in 1974, the then government of Pakistan, which was Bhutto regime, they enacted a law against Ahmadis that it was the first ever example, I think, in the history of the political governments, that a political government is taking decision for a certain religion, that whether they are of this faith or not. So they decided and passed the law, and the law was enacted in September 1974, that Ahmadis are not Muslim for the purpose of law and constitution. And later on, when Bhutto was overthrown by Ziaul Haq, he also appeased the mullahs. To appease mullahs, he further reinforced that law by implementing it, that you cannot name yourself as Muslim, name himself. You cannot practice what you want to do. So even this is why the head of the Ahmadiyya community, my predecessor, had to migrate from Pakistan, because he could not practice, preach, or even profess his religion, or to train his own people by using Islamic terminology and Islamic teaching.
If I can go back on something you told me about the prophecy that Muslims will be here by name and not by practice, is that what is happening right now, do you think?
You see, you can see everywhere. Quran says that you should promote peace. And there are so many verses in the Quran which say this. The Quran says the leaders should properly look after their people, the public. Quran says that give due rights to poor. And in all these Muslim countries, do you think or do you see any of these things happening? No. Even rights of the people are being denied in Pakistan as we are being persecuted. In Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Syria, in Egypt, and so many other countries. So they are not practicing Muslim now. They are, although they claim that they are Muslim and they are doing according to the teachings of Islam, but they are, I can say, is misconstruing the true teachings of Islam.
For people in Canada looking at their news page and at their news feed on Twitter and social media and such, it is literally full of incidents that are even closer to home. Well, from Niger to the Boston Marathon bombing to a threat on the Via Rail train to the horrible murder of a soldier just a few days ago. All done in the name of your religion, purportedly.
This is what I am saying. This is why the reformer was to come, and he has come. This is what we claim. He said that he has come for two main purposes: to let the people understand the responsibilities he owed to his creator. A person owes to his creator. Secondly, make the people understand the responsibility they owe to each other. So he says that person has two rights. One, the right of God, the creator, and the second is the right of the people. So you have to discharge these two rights. So if you are not doing it, that means you are not following the true teachings of Islam.
But not doing what? What in modern day 2013 needs to be done to stop that kind of violence?
This is what we have been trying all the time. If you listen to my addresses, to my speeches, I have been always talking about the peace and how to create peace, not only to the Western nations, but to the Muslim leaders, to the Muslim people. I have been reminding them all the time what is your true teaching and what you are doing.
Is that enough, going around and preaching
Yes,
peace?
We can only do up to which extent we can, right? So with the limited resources, the limited means we have been trying our level best.
Security agencies say that they are changing their tactics, that they are doing different kind of tracking and basically trying to do predictive analysis about who is a threat and who is going to launch one of these do-it-yourself or homegrown attacks. Should the Muslim world be changing its tactics too and looking around at itself?
There are some few Muslim groups who are doing all these things in the name of Islam. Even what happened just 2 days ago in the UK, in London, a soldier was killed. Muslim Council has very forcefully rejected that action. They say it is all wrong and we condemn it. So they have done well. But even then, I can say within Muslim Council, there are some people who will be in favor of this action.
And that's what I'm wondering. Does the Muslim community as a whole, Ahmadiyyas and any sect really, do they need to reject it more strongly? Do they need to become part of the solution more than what has been happening?
We have been doing our level best what we can do in every part of the world.
Is your level best working?
But yes, we are working everywhere. Even those who were, victimized, for instance, in United States, 9/11 incident happened, right? We collected last year 10,000 blood bags for the people of the United States, and we did a drive with the name Muslim for Peace or no Muslim for Life. And this year we intend to collect 25,000 bags of blood, and our youngs and our community members, and even though others also, are coming to take part in it. And this Muslim for Life is a big drive in the United States, and is being appreciated everywhere in the United States. And the people know, if you go to UK, United Kingdom, there they know what Jamaat Ahmadiyya community is doing for creating the peace in the society. And we are giving a huge sum of amount to so many charities, local charities. And just recently, our youth organized a marathon in one of the town in United Kingdom, just near London. And there we collected almost, our target is 300,000 pounds. And the mayor was there, and they praised our effort, and everybody liked it. Even last year, the mayor of London, Boris Johnson, was there, and he appreciated our effort. So those people who know us, they know that we have been trying our best to create peace in the society. Not here, but in African countries, you would know, you would see.
Yeah. These are all very good works. Do you hope that this is the solution?
You see, even do you think we have the power? We don't have the power. Our job is to preach. The Ahmadiyya community is a religious organization whose work is to preach the true teaching of God, right? And this is what we have been doing. Even if, and this is why I always tell the big powers also that you can do, if you take appropriate measures to curb this situation, to make reform among the people, because these are the governments who are helping those governments in Muslim governments. And if they ask them to put firm hand on these organizations and groups, they can do it. But we are also victimized, we are also being persecuted. So we don't have power even. We are the people who are being victimized. We are the people who are persecuted in so many countries. And despite that we have been doing what we can.
So you'll have to forgive me. Who is it that has the power to put a firm hand on this?
You see, all the station governments are the member of United Nations. All
this is a political issue, you say?
Yes.
Not a religious issue?
Not religious. No religious. You say it's a matter of politics, not religion. These groups want some powers. They have their own vested interests for which they are fighting for.
Why are Muslim youth so vulnerable to radicalization then, if it's a political issue?
Not Muslim youth. There are some groups of Muslim youth, yes, and there is also a reaction. You know, some of the people think youth might be youth, you can say, but it's not specifically the youth. There are people of all ages who think that what is happening in Afghanistan is not right. And those Western governments who are playing their role there, it is wrong in their view. So,
and in your view?
In my view, the strategy should be different. See, what is happening in Syria, and now the Western governments go there. In my view, it is wrong, and I agree with the Israeli president who said that UN forces should go there, but the forces should comprise of the Arab people, not the Western people, so that the neighboring countries can should take measures against that country, or should help the people of that region.
Is there any role to play in mosques, in families, to stop the exporting of violence?
You see, our approach is up to our mosques. If you have listened to my sermon, we have been trying everywhere in the world. Even, I can just tell you one incident. In Ghana, we have very big community there. One of our Ahmadi member, who happened to be the minister at that time, he says we were discussing about the crimes in the country. And the data was brought before us. And for his surprise, the majority of the criminals were from among Muslims. But he said to the Director General of the prison that you just find out and bring me the report that is there any Ahmadi among these criminals who have committed heinous crime? And after some days, the data was brought to him, and he says, according what I expected, and very rightly according to his expectations, there was no Ahmadi involved any of that heinous crime, right? So this is the society we want to create in the world. And there are now hundreds of millions of Ahmadis in the world, and you would not see they are involved in any of the heinous crimes, which is disturbing the peace of the society. Although there may be some options, one or two, I cannot say 99.99% right, but there can be some percentage who are not good. But if we come to know about them, we just take firm actions against them, excommunicate them, and if possible, hand over to the administration.
How do you stop the side that is not? I understand what you are doing. I understand that you have a peaceful message. Not everyone in your faith does, and so is your message of peace enough to counteract a message of revenge?
You see, yeah, if it is not enough, we should just leave it? No. Our aim is, our objective is to reform the world. So if not this generation, next generation, we are not going to give up our, this approach.
This is the
Right.
path.
Yes, we have taken the path, we have been given this path in our teachings in the Holy Quran, and the the founder of Islam, and the founder of Ahmadiyya community. And really, that one person who claimed almost 125 years ago was a single man. The condition of the world at that time was also, according to those conditions, was the same. But when he passed away, he was almost 500,000, right? And after his demise, 105 years have passed. And now we are in hundreds of thousands. See? Even millions, more, very many millions. But you see, this is how we are trying to change the world. At least I can say 100 or 50 million, 160 million people are now, they call themselves Muslims, but are against all these type of brutalities, atrocities being committed by those so-called religious groups.
I think our time is up. So, Your Holiness, I thank you very much for your time. It was very interesting. I wish we had double the time so I could keep asking you those questions.
Yes. So you're trying to find out something different from me, but my answer is the same.